That was it. Alright. Man, it's pretty out here. I like this. Alright, today I've got Sup Taters, today we got an awesome Sup Taters, Can Vandal here. This video is for the women. But you guys need to pay attention, especially you makers, because it might be quite helpful. So stay tuned. Sup Taters? Sup Taters, like I said before, today's video is going to be dedicated to the women. But before we get into it, if you have not subscribed to the channel, why don't you do that right now? Just go down, hit that subscribe button. While you're down there, if you like what you see, hit that like button and don't forget to hit the bell notification so you can get everything that I'm putting out, because Can Vandal's putting out. With that said, let's get to the video. In the last 100 years, women have made a tremendous inroad in many facets of life. And the evidence is everywhere. And one of those is in professional sports. From basketball to soccer, women can now compete in arenas once dominated solely by men. And from time to time, I watch a little bit of women's sports. My favorite, by far, is women's professional curling. And the reason women's curling is my favorite is because it's the only sport where a man can stand up and shout, "Sweep harder," and not be considered a chauvinist. But I think it's a really great thing that women have their own professional sports. But one thing I've been noticing of late is there is a lot of women that are starting to embrace and get involved in slingshot shooting. And for that, I say absolutely fantastic. And for some women, this sport is quickly becoming a passion, like with Lori Valente. God, I hope I said that right. But I was just watching one of my favorite channels, The Sling Den. If you are not subscribed to The Sling Den, you need to stop and do that right now. The Sling Den is an awesome slingshot channel. Benji has done an outstanding job, and he has interviewed some of the greatest in our sport. But just recently, I just watched the latest episode of The Sling Den where it had Moan Waller and Lori on it. Now, for those of you who don't know who Moan Waller is, you're not alone. Not many people know who he is. He's rather unknown in our community. I'm just kidding. Everybody and their brother in this community knows who Moan Waller is. He's like the Elvis of slingshots. Moan Waller is an absolute fantastic guy. I met Moan earlier this year at Swamp Stomp for the first time, and I'm going to tell you, he is everything that people said about him. Moan Waller is the personification of wow with sprinkles. I mean, if Moan had a theme song, it would be that Mentos commercial song. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-ah. But in that episode, which was a great episode, by the way, they were talking about hand sizes, and Lori brought up some really outstanding points that most of us have never considered. In the video, in reference to makers and hand sizes and frames, Lori said this. She said, thinking of hand sizes, as you're making the sport more accessible to women, makers have to be aware that women's hands are going to be smaller. Now, this is something I've got to admit I haven't thought a lot about. Women's hand sizes are smaller than men's. And when it comes to making frames, this is something that should be considered. Well, let's look at the science. An average size man's hand measured from here to the tallest part of their hand is 7.6 inches. That same measurement from here to here on an average woman's hand is 6.8 inches. Now that's almost an inch difference. And that can make it difficult for some women to pull off a good pinch grip on most frames. So in honor of all women shooters, I have went into my collection and I have picked out my top 3 frames that I think are great for women shooters. Here they are. All right, my first frame is none other than the Stylus Revolve by Mark Selgin. Guys, I cannot say enough great things about the Stylus Revolve. You want to talk about a great pocketable frame, this is the one right here. But I especially like this one for women because of some certain features. Let me give you the dimensions. The Stylus Revolve has a 90mm outer fork width. It has a 43mm center, 24mm fork tips, and 131mm overall length. Now, as far as those dimensions, it makes a pretty average size frame. Just to kind of give you a size reference, I got out my Scout LT, which pretty much everybody's seen one of these before or may even own one of these, but you can kind of get a size comparison there. It's basically the same size, almost the same dimensions, not exactly, but very close. Now, out of all three of these slingshots, the stylus has the widest fork width. It comes in at a 90. And a 90 for some women, it can be challenging. But the reason I picked the Stylus Revolve as a great option for women is because of the thickness. Take a look at that. It comes in at a mere 14 millimeter thickness. I mean, that's like you're shooting with a Pop-Tart. The Stylus Revolve is very lightweight, and it comes in 5 very unique colors: blue steel, seagrass, fig, flagstone, and black. And I know some of you women like color. Well, the Stylus is a great option. The Stylus Revolve is an ideal shooter, in my opinion, for most women. You women burp too. I'll be playing. All right, my number 2 frame that I think would be awesome for women shooters is none other than the Slant Roller, also by Mark Selgin. I'm gonna tell you, Mark Selgin is by far my favorite designer. I mean, the stuff he comes up with is absolutely fantastic. And one of those is the Slant Roller. I tell you, this has been a frame that I find myself picking up time after time after time. In fact, I did have this banded up about a week ago, but I took the band off and put it on another frame because I wanted to shoot it. But I'm telling you, this slant is an awesome, awesome frame. Now, ladies, one awesome thing about the Slant Roller, just like the Stylus, is that it comes in the same color combinations. But the reason the Slant Roller has made my top 3 frames for women is because of its dimension and design. The Stylus is a small frame that shoots like a full. That's F-U-L-L, not F-O-O-L. Shoots like a full. Full frame. But the slant is very small in its dimensions, but it feels like a full-size frame in your hand. This works out really great for women. And these dimensions, I'm telling you, are ideal for the woman shooter. The Slant Roller has an 87 millimeter outer fork width, a 46 millimeter center. It has 21 millimeter tips, 105 millimeter overall length, and it's a 20 millimeter thickness. Now, yeah, it's a little chunk, and it comes in again at a 20 millimeter thickness, but it's not too thick. Let me give you a size reference. Here's the slant, and there is the Scout LT. There is a substantial difference in size. I mean, the slant has a little bit of girth to it, but the girth makes it work. But I think the Slant Roller is a great option, especially for women who are trying to pull off a good pinch grip. It's very easy to pull off because the tips are only 87 millimeters wide. I absolutely love the Slant Roller, and I think it's an excellent choice for Emmy. It won an Emmy. I personally love the Slant Roller, and I think it's an awesome choice for any woman shooter. What's up, neighbor? All right, and my final choice for top shooters for women is none other than the Axiom Champ by Simple Shot. Taters, I absolutely love this frame. In fact, the Axiom Champ is my favorite pocketable of all time. It is an absolute blast to shoot, and I think this would be an awesome, awesome option for women shooters. Now, when you order it, you will not receive it like this. These are added grips. But this is a fantastic frame that I think most women will absolutely enjoy to shoot. The Axiom Champ is the epitome of compact. I would argue that the Axiom Champ is probably one of the most compact production frames on the market. And the Axiom comes in 4 awesome colors: green, black, orange, and clear. And let's get this clear. I think this is an awesome, awesome frame for women. You get it? Clear? Get it? Let's get this clear. Okay. Dumbest joke of the day. I'm sorry. What makes the Axiom Champ the #1 choice for women shooters is its dimensions. This is a small one. The Axiom Champ has an 83 millimeter outer fork width. That's small. It also has a 41 millimeter center, 21 millimeter fork tips, 117 millimeter overall length, and a thickness of only 12.5 millimeters. And this thing is light as a feather. I mean, it weighs the same as fart. And on top of all that, the Axiom Champ has universal tips. You can shoot this over the top or through the forks, wherever you want to do. Now that's too much sugar for a nickel. If you have smaller hands, the Axiom Champ is one to try out. All right, Taters, I hope this has been helpful, but before we move on, I want to tell you why I've picked these frames. The first reason is because all three of these frames are production frames, which means they are readily available at Simple Shot right now. I've put all these links down in the description, and again, they are readily available for purchase. And number two, I picked these frames because they're very, very affordable. All three of these individually priced are under 40 bucks. And price is a big deal to consider, and these are low price. That way, if you buy these ladies and you don't like them, you haven't spent a lot of money on them. But if you do like them, which brings me to my final point to why I picked these, is that all three of these can be found in a Pro Series version. That's right, if you like these three frames, they all come in a Pro Series version. You got the stylish revolve. Look at that. Beautiful CNC aluminum with integrated clips. Fantastic. The slant roller has two versions, one for wrap and tuck, and this one right here has integrated clips. Fantastic. Has a little weight to it, but that weight will help with stability, I promise. And then you got the Axiom Champ. Check that out. Beautiful. And this comes in, I think, a black. I mean, it is absolutely fantastic. And this version is not for sale anymore, but I wanted to show it off. This is the carbon version of the Axiom Champ, and it is absolutely fantastic. Love it. But there you go, ladies, my top 3 slingshots for women. Again, all these products you'll find in the description. I've got links there. I've made it very easy. Just click the link. It'll take you right to Simple Shot where you can make your purchase if you desire. And in the comments, women, if there is something I didn't cover today that you'd like me to cover, or if you have any suggestions of a frame that other women might like to shoot, put it in the comments. But let's try to keep it to frames that are readily available. It's an awesome thing to see so many women showing interest and getting involved in slingshot shooting. And you are absolutely welcome to the community. And with that said, until we meet again, be kind to each other and get out there and bust some cans. We'll see you next time. Later, Tater.